This is the Harbor Freight Cobra 8-channel DVR system. It is item number 63890, and it goes for approximately $200 in stores. We're going to go over the networking a little bit today, and I want to be able to, first of all, access it on my phone and also be able to see it on my PC side as well. So right now it's connected to a 32-inch PC monitor by HDMI. And since I'll be going over a little bit of the PC things too, I've also got a DisplayPort cable connected to my monitor as well, to my PC, so I can switch back and forth. I'm also just using a standard modem from my cable company, and I also use my own router. It's a Linksys router that we're going to be using today. So this will be the first thing that you see when you start the system. It is a startup wizard. You can always disable that from showing again if you want to check this box right here. So I'll go ahead and click on that for now. This will just ask you for a username and a password. Enter anything that you like. Just keep in mind the password does need to be 8 characters in length, cannot be longer, cannot be shorter, and it needs to be all numerical. So no alphanumeric, no letters of any kind actually. Click on next here. And then this will be your hard drive management. Right now I have a little bit of recording on there, but I can go ahead and just format now. You don't have to if you don't want to. Just make sure there's this left box is checkmarked and circled. Click on the format. It will ask you for a password. And yes, I do. Just keep in mind when you do this, it is a permanent deletion. You cannot retrieve anything that you delete. Just wait for a few seconds for this. And just about there it is. Okay, and you can choose your overwrite options. By default, it's set to auto. Just means that when it's full, it will automatically start overwriting the oldest recordings first. If you wanted to change it up to something different, you can by clicking on the drop down box and then just choosing one of the options here. I will go ahead and just leave it on auto. Click on next. Now when you first get the system, you will see the networking configuration screen here. It is advisable to make sure that your system is in working proper order first before you actually even worry about this. But since I've already tested it and I know that the system is working, we can just show it to you here. These are going to be your network options now. There's going to be PPP, OE, there's going to be DHCP, static, or 3G connection. Depending on your situation, your environment, where it's going to be set up will determine what option you actually choose. Now, the majority of people will most likely choose DHCP or a static connection. By default, it automatically reads your router information as soon as you plug it into your router with an Ethernet cable. So this is automatically read to my router, and there's nothing that you can change or do. The only thing you can change is if perhaps you have a different DNS number that you need to put in here for access, and this is UPnP, so by default it is disabled. You will want to go ahead and enable that actually, usually. If you wanted to go ahead and do a static connection, you can choose that here. And this is where you can actually fill in all of those fields manually to whatever it is that you're going to make for a static connection. So you need to have a little bit of networking knowledge to be able to do that. If you don't know, you may need to contact a couple of people for some help on being able to know what it is that you need to enter into these fields. Otherwise, for simplicity's sake, you can go ahead and just do DHCP, where it automatically reads the information. Ports should be by default, just leave it alone. You shouldn't really have to do anything. Now keep in mind, your equipment may be different, and your setup may be different as far as what you're doing. So your ISP might need to be contacted, an IT professional may need to be contacted. It just really honestly depends. But this is what I'm doing here is just a very basic, simple household setup. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on next. It'll come to an email configuration screen. I don't really want to set it up right now. If you do, make sure that this is enabled. All those fields now become something that you can enter information for. You will need to get this information here from your email provider, the SMTP port and server information. Your username and password will be for the email address that you want to send from. And this will be a name that you create for the sender. You can name it anything you like, actually. That doesn't honestly matter. And then the receiver will be the email address that you're going to send to. So for example, if I wanted to use my Gmail and my Yahoo accounts, I would put my Gmail information here, the username and the password for my Gmail account, name the sender of where it's going to come from, and I will put in just the Yahoo account to where it's being sent to right in here. Choose the intervals of how often you want to receive the emails. Just keep in mind, depending on the email schedule that you set up later on, you will get a lot of emails. So I would probably end up doing maximum of 10 minutes. Again, it's just basically dependent upon your system, your environment, what kind of building, house, business that it is going to be into. So I do not want to do that right now, so I'll just disable it and click on next. And then by default, this is your recording schedule. It's automatically set up to record 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can tell that by here, Sunday, Monday, all the way through Saturday. And then the time, 24-hour format is 0-100 hours all the way through 2400 hours. If you wanted to change it, just make sure that you choose the proper one. If you wanted to go for motion only, make sure first of all green is gone. In order to get rid of the green, you got to make sure that this is selected first. Click and drag. Everything goes away. Then go ahead, click on motion, and do it again. Alright? So you can mix and match, do anything you like. If you want to do something different for each channel, you would just choose each channel individually. Or if you like that setting and you want to make that same setting for all the channels that you've got, then copy channel 1 through all, copy it. Okay? Very simple, straightforward. And then just general system settings, today's date, time, the format of the date. If you want to keep it a 24-hour format, you can change it to 12-hour format if you wish. Make sure that you select the proper language. Video format for North America, always use NTSC. International users will be using the PAL outside of this country. So if you're in the United States and something looks strange, lines, analogs, check to make sure NTSC is set up. Okay. You can turn off the menu timeouts if you want. That just means how long it takes for the menus to disappear, stationary, not actually doing anything. Okay. Save it. Wizard is complete and done. So now you can see the cameras. I only have one connected for right now, so just so I can show you guys. But so I've got one right here. That's just pointing outside my window. If you want to make it bigger, full screen, you just double click on it. You see a nice view of that camera, close-up shot. If you want to go back and get rid of that full screen, just double click it again and it'll bring you back to that different layout formats here. Okay. If you'd like these, you can always choose more and do that one or this one. For example, this way, that. You already saw 9, 4-way, and of course single. Okay. So just to double check on the network settings. All right. Network down here. I'm going to leave everything the same. It's already read my router information. I don't need to do anything. Okay. And so for now, what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the PC side. Now, I've already checked my phone. It does work on my phone. You just need to download the app. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the app on my phone right now just because I'm recording with my phone. So, but it does work. But I'm going to show you the actual PC side of things, okay? So, let me switch over. Okay, so now what we need to do is, first of all, we're going to open up the browser. The instructions for this is actually on page number 33 of the manual, so you may want to follow along or look at that if you haven't already seen that, because this is going to allow access to see things on laptops, PCs, and things of that nature. So the first thing you're going to want to do, open up your web browser. I happen to be using Chrome, so the manual does talk about Safari, Internet Explorer, Firefox, and things of that nature, but this happens to be Chrome, okay? So when you enter the IP address of the DVR system itself, you're going to have to see something like this, alright? So this is what you want to be able to see. If you see something else, it is not what you want. You want to be able to see this come up, okay? If you don't, it may be a security level setting that you need to change, things of those natures. So that is all PC user side. Unfortunately, sometimes, depending on what you've got on your PC or what kind of equipment you're working, it isn't going to be as simple and straightforward as just this, alright? So, again, for me, I have a very simple, basic equipment setup. I do not have any sort of antivirus. I only use Windows Defender. I do not, if you notice, very clean browser, no toolbars, no junk of any sort on the browser, okay? So that allows me to very simply put into the IP address of my DVR into my address bar and get the page that I'm supposed to. Now this is the part where you're going to actually have to download and install a web plugin. So go ahead. It will come down here. It's ready to go. Opening it up. Yes. Install it. Done. Alright. Close out your browser. Go back down here. Open it up again. Okay, so here is an issue. Chrome did not want to work. According to the manual, it looks like you have to have a lower version. Now, I happen to have the latest version of Chrome, so that did not work. All right, so and these are things that you may come across too as well that may be a little bit hang up. Now, you see, this is actually what Microsoft Edge. Okay, Microsoft Edge does not work. So if you have a Windows 10 PC, do not use Edge. You're gonna have to go for Internet Explorer. So. Fast way. Get rid of all that. You can tell I never use Windows Internet Explorer here, so. Okay, again, you see it. Very simple. Download that. I will go ahead and just run it. Yes, I want to because I know I already did it for Chrome, but I want to go ahead and do it for this one. Remove it for Chrome. Go ahead and do it for Internet Explorer. It was removed. Go ahead and then redo the installation. Very good. Close it down. Allow. You see that? If you notice that at the bottom, it wanted me to make sure that I wanted to allow that to run. Otherwise, you saw what happened. It brought it back up because it was at access was denied. So as soon as I hit allow for that web plugin to run, there it is. It asks you to log in. Username, password, default stays the same. You can do either choose mainstream or substream, that doesn't matter. You can remember it if you want. Log in. And there we go. That is the browser client actually. As far as you being able to use your, look at your cameras, you can see it's pretty nice, pretty clean. It can pick up everything. Over here on this side, you do see a PTZ controls, only if you have PTZ cameras installed. Now, Harbor Freight doesn't actually offer any PTZ cameras. They're pretty actually pricey. You know, cheapest one you're going to find is probably going to be around $200, $250 or so. But if you want PTZ cameras, you can definitely do that. Just have to make sure that the specification for the PTZ camera is what matches in the specifications chart of the manual, the very beginning of the book, okay? So, live, you can do playback, remote settings, local settings, and log out. So I'm going to close this down for now. On the software desk that you guys got, now there's also something called Surveillance Client. That's the actual program itself. So, it's installed. I'm going to do the wizard here. Go next. I'm going to add online device, okay? It already has it here, my information. We're going to add it. You can call it anything you want. So, DVR1. DVR1. Tap, tap. And add it. It was red for a second and went green, okay? And they're going to take this, import all, alright? You want to do that because you want to import all of the DVR all over to the group. By default, it'll say default group, but if you click there, there you see your DVR, there you see all of the channels, okay? Click on next, wizard complete, finished. Main view. Alright, so that is a little bit of a low quality. You should be able to change it to mainstream. This is most likely probably on the substream option. I haven't played with this a little bit too much, so it might be here. Possibly not. Again, I haven't played with this a little bit too much, so I'm not quite sure where everything is at, but that will just be something I can do on later on. But there you go. I mean, there it is, and you can work. You can do everything you can do here on your main system. Through the browser, through the app, both at home, away from home, work, vacation, anywhere in the world, as long as you have some sort of internet or data access to use one of your devices. Okay? Hope you enjoyed.